have to do the video again because we just launched our videos yesterday and we had some sound problems with video number 1, where we were talking about how not to buy a boat.
Yeah, so we decided in January, in fact it was January the 6th, 2017, that we were going to buy a boat and sail around the world. We originally planned to do this in 2019, but we decided that we would bring it forward to 2018. And the original idea was to buy a monohull. I'd had 4 monohulls before, and we were going to buy a Dailer 41 deck saloon, mainly because it only had 2 cabins in a 41-foot boat, and the cabins was really quite nice, and I wanted a deck saloon, so that's what we kind of planned. Then what happened last summer?
Well, then we went on the sailing course.
We did. We went on a sailing course in Spain,
Barcelona.
With a very nice German instructor.
He's being sarcastic now.
And the one good thing I think he did say though was, have you considered buying a catamaran? And quite honestly, no, we hadn't thought about buying a catamaran. So when we got back from the course, we kind of started looking at that, and we had an invitation to go to the Cannes boat show in September, so by Lagoon. And so we thought, well, why not? We'll go down there. So we trundled off to Cannes in the south of France, and we went around looking at catamarans. So we're never going to buy a new boat. We couldn't afford a new boat. But we hadn't got much of an idea, had we, really, about the layout?
About how it, yeah. And so then we decided to buy a catamaran because this is just such a long journey we're going to do. And so it's much more comfort and
you get more storage,
everything. So we just felt like, well, that's what we want.
It is, and I don't think you can get away from this. It is more like living in an apartment than living in a monohull. But let's not underestimate the sailing ability of these boats. So just before Christmas last year, we went to look at a Broad Blue 385, which is a British catamaran, and he was a very good yacht broker, and he really was telling us, convincing us really that this was the boat for us. And the boat did have some great things regarding the rig and some of the layout and various things like that. So it really was a possibility, and we were due to go and look at another one, and we sat down and went, we want a Lagoon.
We wanted a Lagoon. Yeah.
And particularly we wanted a 440. So by sort of February time in 2018, this year, we had booked a week to go to Croatia just to look at boats, and we'd lined up half a dozen boats to look at, mostly Lagoon 440s, but some of them were 420s or 400s. And the week before we were due to go to Croatia, I found a Lagoon 440
in Sardinia, Italy.
You did, I did, yes. Yeah, and anyway, we jumped on an aircraft and off we went for the weekend. And this Lagoon 440 was a charter version. She was about 10 years old. She had been chartered, but I felt that she was probably recoverable. She was a bit dusty around the edges, but I think, given a bit of time, we could have got her back together. So we came home and we went, right, let's buy it.
Let's buy it, yes.
So we spoke to the broker, and he raised the contract like you'd expect. And we sent him 25,000 deposit, wasn't it? 25,000 euro deposit, which is a fair chunk of money. And we thought, yeah, great. Okay, so all had to happen now was that they would get the owner to sign a contract, and we would have the boat surveyed, and we would have, there was a few things that were agreed in the contract that they were going to do to it. So we packed our bags, went off to Croatia.
Croatia for a week holiday, as we had everything paid to go to Croatia, so we just went there for a holiday.
And
we cancelled all the views.
Yeah, we cancelled. We didn't look at one boat while we were in Croatia. But towards the end of the week, this was 2 weeks after we'd been to see the boat, we started thinking, this isn't right.
This is not going to happen.
So us signing the contract and us sending deposit was only to show that we were serious about buying the boat, and
That's when the negotiation starts.
yeah. So
That's their system. That's how they do it.
that's how they do it. Then you can negotiate with the owner. Well, the owner never signed the contract.
Yeah.
He never agreed a price. So after 2 to 3 weeks, it just fell through, didn't it?
Yeah. And we lost a week in Croatia.
We lost a whole week in Croatia looking at boats.
Yeah.
So after that, we were selling our house. We haven't told you that, but we were selling our house, and we only had about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
To go before, in theory, we would move out. And at that point, I found a Lagoon 400 in Zadar,
Croatia.
in Croatia. And so I got in contact with them and made the point I was really quite, wanted to come and see it. Could I come down like tomorrow? And you packed me off on my own, didn't you?
Yeah, because I was still working.
And I flew down there and I drove through the snow. And what were your words before I left?
Don't come home before without a boat.
That's right. Don't come home without a boat.
Without a boat.
So I met the yacht broker, and I looked at the boat, and it was a very nice boat. Actually, to be fair, it was a 5 years old, owner's version, never been chartered, never been rented. 2 owners were new. They were both friends. One was German, the other was Austrian, and we talked to the yacht broker, came back home and said, right, okay, we're going to buy it. Carl had never seen it, but we were going to buy it. And at that point, I realised that I wasn't dealing with a yacht broker. I was dealing with a gentleman who was very nice, but he managed the boat for the owner. And it was a private sale. Now, I don't know whether I get the feeling I feel a bit more confident if I'm dealing with a yacht broker as opposed to what we had, which was the name of a person, the bank account details, and the email address of this guy in Austria.
In Austria, yeah.
And we had to send him a deposit.
Send a deposit. So we decided to send a deposit at some point.
Well, we did because we felt it could be really dodgy, and we did feel that, this could all go wrong here, and we're going to lose 25 to 30,000 euros. But in the end, we went, okay, come on, we haven't got a lot of choice. We only had 2 weeks.
Yeah, a couple of nights
sleepless nights. We sent the money, and we sent it first thing on a Monday morning, and 2 minutes later, we had an email come through saying your house sale might fall through. Now, without selling the house, we couldn't afford to buy the boat. Now it all got very, very difficult for 3 days. We were pulling our hair out trying to get it back on track, but we did manage to get it back on track with the help of a gentleman that sorted out a certificate that we needed. And somebody said to us, you'll never buy a boat in 2 weeks. But we actually
we bought a boat
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did.
And we sold the house. We flew down to Zadar. We went and sat on the boat. We used to walk around to the boat every day, didn't we?
Every
sit
day,
on it.
yeah.
With all our woolly jumpers on. And about 4 days later, we had to go to Austria
to sign the paperwork.
Sign the paperwork at the notaires, and even the guy that we bought the boat off said, do you know what, I was surprised you sent the deposit because it could have all been a scam.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. We went to the notaire, we signed all the paperwork, we had the translator there, we have all the paperwork for the boat, and even in the contract it guarantees certain things with the boat. And they said to us, if you have a problem, bring it back. Tell us about
and
it.
they are a very nice couple.
Very, very nice couple.
They really looked after the boat. The boat is really good. We are very pleased.
We're very pleased with the boat. Yeah. I think it's not as big as the 440, but actually, you know what? It's probably nicer.
It's probably what we need.
But the most important thing is, we bought a boat.
We bought a boat. A very nice one.
A very nice one. had to spend a few days in the marina at Zadar waiting to know where the boat was to be lifted.
During this time, we went around the old town. Like so many villages in Croatia are built on islands and peninsulas. We shopped at the markets and enjoyed walking the narrow streets.
Evening, absolutely stunning, and if you're very lucky and we swing round on our mooring, you will find a beautiful monastery in the background.
That's true. So this is the beginning of our series, our journey, our life.
It is.
I hope you enjoyed the video and the beginning
of whatever whatever happens next. In the next program we will get out of the marina, and that was very exciting because when you get round to it, it was a pretty big boat. I'd never handled anything this size, and it was blowing 25 knots of wind, so we did manage that in the end, didn't we?
Yes, we did very well.
And we travelled down the coast to
Trubonj,
which is a beautiful little town, and that's where the boat was taken out of the water to have our anti-fouling done and a few other jobs done, so we'll be covering that off in the next episode. And for now, cheers.
Not following us now?
Not yet. We'll let that happen. Did you want to follow?
I don't know. Do we need to ask them?
Do we need to ask them to follow us? Or do we just let them follow us? Okay, you can follow us if you'd like to. We'd really like it if you followed us, okay?
Yeah.
Cheers.